Hey there, I wanted to make this video quick while my little baby is asleep, because there was a question posted in the community around pathogens and Lyme disease and viruses and things like this, and how can just embracing acceptance, love, embracing my emotions, allowing energy to move, coming into a clearer space energetically, have an effect on those things? Isn't this an illness that, requires all kinds of different treatments and medicines, and if nothing's working, how can this make a difference? So the thing I wanted to share is that, and we've seen scientifically so much more in this lately, that all pathogens have a consciousness. Every living thing has a consciousness. Everything has a frequency of energy, and these pathogens have a specific consciousness. And when we are in a higher consciousness of love and joy and freedom, they literally cannot survive in that field. So when we think of, yes, medications, antibiotics, absolutely, all of these things are very helpful. And the thing that will make the biggest difference over to whether your physical body is an appropriate host for Lyme or for viruses or like cytomegaloviruses, all these things that cause chronic problems, and that can be so hard to get rid of. Yeast, a lot of times people will spend years trying to detoxify from yeast. There are particular consciousnesses that we can reside in where it's like, I feel like a victim. It's hopeless. I'll never make it. Things aren't okay. Even if we just have like 2% of that hanging in our energy field, it can make us more susceptible for the growth of these pathogens who are a match to that frequency. I'm not saying that they're thinking this, but that energy of those thoughts is a certain frequency. And if we are a match for those pathogens, we will be a better host. So the more we practice, that's why like so many things, like if we practice laughter and joy, even things like cancer have been shown to reverse depending on the frequency of energy and emotion that we are in. Same things for these pathogens, and this is the reason why. So we can see there's an energy frequency to like growing yeast or growing any of the pathogens that we're talking about here, any of these viruses. There is a particular frequency to them if we grow them in a culture. Same thing in your body. If you're a match energetically and you haven't really cleared those energies of, so I'll say like victim consciousness, when we feel like, oh my God, there's no way out, and I feel like life is happening to me, and everything just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and I don't even know what to do. So I feel like life is happening to me, or just as soon as I get better, another bad thing happens. Life is happening to me. That's a victim consciousness, and we can easily get stuck in that. I think many of us have, but it's a matter of knowing, wait a minute, this is not me, this is not my truth, that we can awaken beyond it. And I want to share with great compassion for when we are in a victim consciousness, because it's not a wrongness. I don't think people like hearing like, wait a minute, I'm not a victim. Don't tell me that. I've been working so hard. I've been fighting so hard. Interestingly, what I found is a lot of times Candida will overgrow when someone's really in that heaviness of a victim consciousness, and Lyme will overgrow when we're in like victim with a side of like push really hard through it and be positive. Someone who's like, no, I'm not going to surrender. I'm not going to let this go. I'm not going to stop fighting. I'm not just going to let the disease take me over. So they work really, really, really hard to fight it and overcome it. And sort of like health is an achievement. So that like willpower kind of thing. I don't know exactly why, but I have seen very, very frequently that when people have Lyme, they're in that particular consciousness. And when they've cleared that and they allow themselves to be more resilient, I move through life effortlessly and I allow things to flow, and they sort of give up the fight, that they are no longer in the consciousness that is a match for that pathogen. So just kind of mull that over for yourself. These are always invitations to like check it out for yourself of, what do I know is true within me? What do I know is possible within me? So I would welcome your questions or comments on that. But I hope that sort of helps you go a little bit beyond this understanding of like, wait, if I just embrace things as they are, how does that make a difference? You're coming into a higher state of consciousness when you can be in more fluidity instead of being in more of a fight and attack the disease, and I've got to overcome this, and all of the stress that goes along with that. So with lots of love and compassion, I will leave you with that. Bye.